Welcome back to this monthly video series that should be titled Better Late Than Never, because here I am at the time of this recording. It is November 9th. It is not November 1st when I'm going to talk about what I'm going to read this month. I'm already almost 10 days behind. I'm going to try to get it out tonight, I should say. It is nighttime. Trying to get it out so I don't I don't hit another day, which I think it was the 10th last month when I did this. Anyways, I'm blabbering. So let's talk about what I read last month. I'll give you my little opinions, my big opinions, my mini reviews, I guess you could say, for these things. And I was thinking about scoring them. I'm not sure yet because some of them I might want to actually give a proper review for. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like me to give little scores, little number scores on each and every book that I review here briefly, and or if you guys just want me to talk about them, and that's good enough, because I clearly don't do as many book reviews as I used to do, and so maybe you guys want that sort of thing. I don't know. Last time I put up a poll, you guys seem to like the scoring. Anyway, let's talk about it. Mystic River, Dennis Lehane. I think I finished the book before I made my last video last month. Love this book. It's so good. Second Dennis Lehane book I've read. The first one was The Drop, recommended to me by my friend Britton, also known as Samoki Dude here on YouTube. However, I think you could start with Mystic River. It's amazing. On the surface, it feels like a whodunit crime story. It's about. It starts off with three young boys, very close friends. Something terrible happens to one of those boys, and it's a traumatic experience that, let's just say, puts into motion events that unfold later in life, because that's the rest of the book. There is a young girl who is murdered, and it's kind of how it affects through these three boys as adults, I should say. And that's really all you need to know about it. That's all you should know about it. I saw the film a long time ago. While I enjoyed it, it wasn't as memorable as this book, and I think that's why. Again, the written word, when done properly, can do amazing things. Film can as well, of course. I love film. I'm a film junkie too. But man, did this book sing. It sang. It was beautiful. It was haunting. The one thing I really appreciate about Dennis Lehane is and I've talked about this before, where I think a lot of people mistake him as kind of a James Patterson sort of writer. Not to say James Patterson is terrible, but in that kind of airport book, thriller-esque, writes a ton of stuff, not very much substance to them, but entertaining. Dennis Lehane is not that kind of writer. He is a very deeply emotional, gets under your skin, fantastic prose stylist from top to bottom. His sense of dialogue and voice is damn near second to none. I just love reading his stuff. Every time I read one of his books, I'm always just taken aback at the craftsmanship there. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that, because, again, I think a lot of people, and maybe it's just me, let me know down in the comments below how you feel about Dennis Lehane, if you've ever read him or anything. But he just seems kind of like a mainstream popular, thriller writer or crime writer, I guess you could say. But he's so much more than that. He's one of the few writers that can have that kind of commercial success, but then also have some literary merit. Okay, I think those kind of authors are just incredibly rare. Dennis Lehane is one of them. Mystic River is a fantastic book, doing so many things. Maybe I should review it because I like it so much. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below, because I would be happy to do a full-length review and talk a little bit more in depth about my feelings if I haven't communicated them well enough. But moving on, the second book is, I'm still working on this, guys, and if you follow the channel, you know this. That's Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I don't need to talk about what it's about. You guys know what it's about. It's been around since 1818. just a little bit longer than I've been alive. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. I'm seeing many other levels that I didn't pick up as a high schooler for obvious reasons. The prose and the writing itself is surprisingly accessible for something that was written so long ago. Granted, yes, it's using old language. Granted, yes, sometimes the dialogue feels melodramatic, but I think it's of the time. It's incredibly easy to understand. It's short. There are some things where I feel like The story meanders a bit to its detriment. I feel like there's some repetition with emotional arcs, but man, thematically, apart from even the God complex thing, right? Which I think a lot of people most notably think about Frankenstein for. It's doing so many other things from a thematic standpoint, which I'm talking about at length in my read along if you guys want to check it out. I have one more episode left. I'm almost done with the book. It's not perfect, but man, oh man. For being written in 1818, lauded as, I think, the first science fiction novel ever written by a 19-year-old lady, this is damn impressive writing. And it's something you should read if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. Is it perfect? No, of course not. But it's always tough to, it's so hard for me to read old stuff because the way we communicate ideas through fiction, the way the prose works and from a visual standpoint, it's like film editing, right? It's changed so much. And so when you go back and watch something like Citizen Kane, you can say how masterful it is, but I mean, really, if you watch it through a modern lens, it's kind of cheesy. I know maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but it's so reading older stuff like that, or reading old stuff is like that for me. And so that's why I often don't go back too far because I feel like it's difficult for me to shed that perception, right? The modern lens, so to speak. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? The next book I read, and man, hot damn, was this a good book? Recommended to me by Mr. Carol Wainwright. It's After the First Death by Robert Cormier. Cormier, I think it's Cormier. He is, so I hate young adult. You guys know that out there if you follow this channel. It's generally cringy. Actually, let me take a step back because we've had arguments on my Discord server. You should totally hang out and come join in. It's totally free. About young adult. And what is young adult? And some people argue that young adult is any kind of fiction with young people in it. So something like Stephen King's It, right? But I view young adult as, yes, there is most likely young protagonists in it, but thematically and the content it's exploring is very, very specific to that age group, right? Because it's for young readers. It's for, these middle schoolers, maybe early high schoolers, I guess. It's dealing with the things they're tackling. So this book, After the First Death, didn't know anything about it. Carol just said, you should read this. He's recommended it multiple times. I said, all right, I'll do it. It's not about, well, it is kind of about teen stuff in a way, but it's set up as there are these terrorists and they're hijacking a school bus full of kids who are, I believe, like 5, 6, 7-ish years old. And one of the terrorists is a young man. So it's a multi-POV novel, 3 POVs. Well, 4, I guess technically 4. And the second POV is a young girl who's the bus driver. She's a teen as well. Her uncle normally drives the bus, but by some circumstance, she is covering for him. Wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And then the third POV is the son of a general who we don't really know his story. He's telling us the story. He's actually writing the story down for us, what happened, what his experiences were in first person in a journal while he's in the hospital recovering from a gunshot wound. That's all we really know when this thing starts. But what's so amazing about this book is I didn't cringe once, okay? Now, when I've tried to read young adult novels before, even there's one novel, man, I wish I could remember the name, but I can't remember it. And I didn't know it was young adult, and I started reading it. You just get like these EBGBs. You get like this icky feeling that you're reading young adult. And I know if you're young adult fans out there, forgive me, but you just, it's something you feel in your gut. You feel it on your flesh, just crawling over you. This book does not have that whatsoever. And this man, Robert Cormier, I looked him up. He won an award for his fiction, his works of fiction, in that for young people, because all of his stuff, to my knowledge anyway, is for younger readers. And this is how young adult novels should be written for guys like me, right? I can imagine when I was a kid, if I would have known about this book, because it was written like in the 70s, I think, late 70s, I would have because I had some problems. I like the idea of reading more than I actually did read. Granted, when I was a little kid, I read a lot, and then my middle years were less, and then now I'm trying to make up for that. But I think this really would have got me to read. And if you guys out there have a young boy, a son, a nephew, a friend, a friend's kid, whatever it might be, I recommend this book because I think this was really engaging. It was fantastically written. It does something that I feel like very few books do anymore, and that is the voice of it's told in third person for the most part, but the prose itself, the voice of the prose is told actually tightly in the perspective of the character. And you kind of see that sometimes in books, but I feel like authors tend to, I don't want to say forget to do it, but stay away from it, stray from it, try to be more omniscient, I guess, in that regard, because it's a really hard thing to do. And I don't want to say this isn't like the best instance I've seen of it, but it's very noticeable in the prose, and I could really appreciate that. And the ending, it's not what you expect. I love that about it. I love that it doesn't have just the normal kind of conclusion that you see in so much young storytelling, whether it be film or novels. Granted, again, I don't read a lot of these young adult novels, but damn, it's really well done. I think I need to do a review on this one because I know a lot of people out there don't watch these videos or watch the whole video, so they may miss this stuff. But yeah, after the first death, Robert Cormier, I really want to read more of his stuff. So holy shit, I found a young adult novel that I like, that I really like. Not only liked, but really, really liked. So Carol, if you're watching this, thank you, man. I'm glad I read this book finally. And yeah, go check out his channel, by the way. Lots of cool. He reads the stuff nobody's reading out there. Anyway, all right. So the last book, you guys know, if you're paying attention to this channel, you guys selected it. You guys voted on it. That is 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled, I believe. Khaled Hosseini. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Okay, this book, I owe you guys a full review, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Did I like it? Yes. Was it? No, I'll save it for the review. So it's a very well-written story. It's about these two young women in Afghanistan. They're all Muslim, so I'm sure you understand what their lives are like. It's a very sad story about these women growing up in that kind of society where there is, it's kind of a battlefield from time to time as well. So it's exploring the various wars happening, as well as a little bit of touch on 9/11. And yeah, I can't get into it because I don't want to spoil the review. I do have some critical things to say about this book, however, and it's one of those times where, let's just say, I'm sure you guys out there have had this experience where something's good, but it doesn't really 100% connect with you because it's doing all of the things that storytelling should be doing to appeal to a mass audience. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I'll get into more detail about it in my review. But it's not a bad book. It's a great book, but it's not doing things that I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm already getting too far into this. So that is it. Those are all the books I read. Well, with the exception of Frankenstein, which I'm still reading. I'm almost done, I swear. I've just been a little preoccupied with another book I'm going to talk about very, very shortly. But before I get into that, the first book I read this month was Train Dreams by Dennis Johnson. This is a book I was really excited for. It's a novella. My friend Britton, I'll mention him again, some monkey dude, asked me if he'd like to do a buddy read on it. I said, yeah, of course, man. I've heard so many great things about this book. It's short. You guys know I love short books. And also the setting, right? I don't want to say it's a Western. It's not really a Western, but it has that kind of, I don't know. It's set in or around, that kind of environment, I guess, let's say, where it's about this guy it's weird. The story is about this guy who he was born on a train, or at least as far as he remembers, and he doesn't really know why. And he was kind of taken in by this family, and trains, of course, Train Dreams, it plays a pretty big role in the novel. He uses it for traveling. Clearly, that was his origin story to a degree, but he does a lot of blue collar labor. I think it takes place. Was it Idaho? I can't remember the actual location. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, he marries a woman, has a child, and it's a life's a struggle. It's kind of like a book like that. It's chronicling this guy's life from birth till death, more or less, and it has this kind of dreamy, train dreamy vibe to it, where he's not quite sure exactly. I don't know. His memories are kind of. It feels. Man, I'm having a really tough time today articulating myself. But yeah, dreamlike in a way that it kind of ebbs and flows, and you're getting glimpses of things, and then it's kind of nonlinear in a way as well. So you're floating around without kind of any rhyme or reason, but there is a through line through the entire thing. What did I think about it? I liked it overall. I felt like so the narrative device in it very much feels like someone's telling you a story. Someone is recounting the tale of this man, whose name is Robert Granier. But it doesn't have that it doesn't have the stylistic, amazing prose that this book does, Tom's Crossing, which I'm going to talk about really quick. And they're very similar in that regard, where he's trying to evoke a feeling of this dreaminess, this just very loose, nonlinear storytelling, which I appreciate. I can see the intent. I think anyway. I'm just guessing, of course, but it drags on because it's incredibly exposition heavy, which is very common when you're telling a story. Of course, right? You're passing through a lot. You're going through a lot of time is passing quickly, and then you kind of stop and then show an immediate scene and then move on, right? I just feel like in this book, it was way, way, way too much exposition. I never got invested in the characters. I never got invested in the story. There were some very beautiful moments in this book, though. Some fantastic moments. I just wish there would have been more of them. I wish there would have been more care to just the characterization, and I don't know. Again, it's one of these books that I guess I respect more than I enjoyed, because I think I can see the intent. I can see what he's going for. I know this book is talked about in YouTube often as being one of the greats. Is it one of the greats? I personally don't think so. I think it has some great merit to it. I think it's a decent book, but do I think it's a fantastic book? Hell no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Train Dreams fans out there, and I will happily have a conversation with you on the Discord server or here in the comments if you want to talk about it more. But anyway, the next book I'm reading it right now. I'm about 150 pages into it, and that is Tom's Crossing by Mark Danielewski. I think it's been a long time since he wrote a novel. He is, of course, famous for House of Leaves, which I read, enjoyed. I am so sucked into this book right now, and it's so damn weird. So if you guys didn't check out my Tom's Crossing book launch event, because I was so lucky to live close enough to where this book launch was happening in Los Angeles, so I was able to go meet Mark. Amazing time. It was so fun. And go check out the video anyway, because I don't know if I think part of it is his enthusiasm is infectious of his own work, because he has a way with words. Of course, he's a writer, but and he has this kind of personality that he seems like a cool guy. And I think all of that, plus the fact that I understood what I am getting myself into with this book, that's really crucial to this. And when I do my review, because I'm definitely going to review this book, it's going to be less about sort of a beat by beat kind of review like I normally do, and more about how you should read this book, or how you should set yourself up to read this book, because I think it's incredibly important, because I had no idea what to expect. I've only read House of Leaves. I thought, is this going to be some crazy puzzle of a book with footnotes and crap? It's not at all. It's a very straightforwardly written novel. But I think the one key thing is, just like with Train Dreams, this book is being told to you. Okay. So at the very beginning of the book, it's telling you that this was by a person called with only the initials ELM. It's transcribed by somebody whose name is redacted, so we don't know. I guess it's Mark Danielewski, right? And so it has this it has this sense of like some old guy sitting by a campfire. His face is awash in light, and he's got a pipe or something, or he's got a beer bottle. I don't know, but he's telling you the story, and he's taking his time. He's not speeding to the good parts, right? He's not rushing to the good parts. He's telling you every little thing. He's even telling you about some of the opinions other people have about the events that have unfolded. Anyway, I'm getting too far into it, but what is it about? I'll tell you briefly. That's another amazing thing about this book, 'cause it's a very accessible, simple story. And look at this. It's like over 1,200 pages long. And this book, it's like eating a ribeye steak, medium rare, about this thick. It's juicy. You never want it to end. It's heavy. It's going to be heavy in your belly too, or in your mind in this case. But it's about these two boys, and they become very good friends. And one of them sends the other out on a mission because there are these two horses who are very important to them. They kind of they're almost like sort of the catalyst of their friendship. I guess they are technically. And they are put in, they're in paddock. There's a paddock A and a paddock B. And then these horses belong to somebody else, another crazy character in the book. And when any kind of animal is put in paddock B, because this guy owns a slaughterhouse, they are sent to slaughter. And so some strange way, the horses end up in paddock B. And so this kid vows to see his friend's wishes through to the end and rescue these horses. Take them to a place called Tom's Crossing. And by the way, the kid who is asking his friend to do this, his name is Tom. And so, but it's also a place, and he's there to set them free. That's it. Simple story. That's all it is. Granted, there's so much intricacy with it, with the historical aspect, the world building, the characterization. It's 1,200 pages, guys. This is a beefy book. Like I said, it's not, it's taking its time. This is the definition of deliberately paced. Okay. I don't feel like anything is rushing ahead. He's telling the story beat by beat, and not really a whole lot has happened in 150 pages or so. And normally I would hate that, but for whatever reason, this book has sucked me in. I find myself, and I told myself I'm reading it in hardcover because that's how he intended it to be. There is some formatting trickery in this as well. Not like House of Leaves though, but little things that I think are worthy of reading it in print versus the ebook, how I normally read. So yeah, if you can't tell, I'm loving this book already. I don't know how I'm going to feel at the end, but I think this one is I'm not going to finish this month. I'm not going to finish this book this month. It's probably going to take me a couple months. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get through it quicker, but that doesn't mean I am not going to allow you guys to submit a book that I'm going to read and review, because every month I like to do that. You guys surprise me. It also forces me to get out of my comfort zone often. So you guys know what to do. If you don't, here's how you do it. You go down below in the comments, you recommend me a book, and you can upvote that comment if you want. And anybody can upvote it, because that's the most important thing, because I take the highest or the most upvoted suggestions down below, put them in a poll, and whichever book wins, that is the one I read. You can even upvote your own comment as well. So keep that in mind. And it can be anything and everything, and I will make sure, even though I will not be done with Tom's Crossing, I'm going to fit this one in, because again, it's important to read things that I don't expect and I don't choose. So I really enjoyed doing that. I enjoy the stuff you guys select, even the troll ones, even the troll books that you guys pick for me to read. But anyway, that is it for me. I think I'm done. Yes, I'm done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.